I am the Knight. I am Batman! I am the Scarecrow!
Hello, citizens of Gotham, and welcome to another episode of the Batman the Animated Series podcast, the show in which we go back to the 90s and review each episode of the Batman the Animated Series in the order it was meant to be watched. I am joined, of course, it's me, Johnny, of course, joined with Levi and Gibbs, and today we're reviewing episode 3, Nothing to Fear.
Yeah.
Nothing to
Nothing to
fear.
Wanna give us-
Scarecrow intro.
Want to give us a
Scarecrow.
synopsis of this episode, Ben?
I will
Yeah.
give us a synopsis of the episode. So, the Gotham University has been the target of several attacks from an unknown criminal under the alias of Scarecrow. Batman has to find Scarecrow and stop his crime spree. But before that, he must overcome his greatest fears under the memories of his long deceased parents.
And Johnny, who made this episode? Why don't you
There you
tell us who made it?
Well, I will, and actually, it's someone we were quite interested by. So, top of the show, this episode was written by Henry Gilroy, who we know very fondly. We know a lot of his work as he was, co-creator of worked on Clone Wars.
Yeah, during
it was
its intro, first
Co-creator
two
of
seasons
Ahsoka.
of Ahsoka
Yeah.
Tano. So, like, this guy,
And
as a Star Wars fan, I saw that name.
Oh,
I went-
really? You're a Star
Yeah,
Wars fan?
I went.
oh, you?
Couldn't
What?
tell from your
Oh,
background.
us? Yeah.
I went.
No.
Who?
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
He was 18.
We found out that he was 18 when he wrote this episode. This episode was made by written by an 18-year-old.
Crazy.
However, it's very inspiring.
I think he only
crazy.
I don't think that person only gets the. Why don't you just say the rest of the other credits?
Yeah. Co-written by Sean Catherine Derrick and directed by Boyd Kirkland. This air date was September 15, 1992, and obviously this is the third episode in production.
There you go.
How about that?
Right off the
and
bat.
the cast, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, cast. Sorry.
Right off the
Can't
bat.
That was last episode.
This
Last
cast.
episode, there was the bad shit.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy, of course, late and great Kevin Conroy, Rob Costanzo, Gandalf Bullock, Commissioner Gordon, Bob Hastings, Clive Revel, Alfred. I believe this is his last as Alfred.
I'm gonna miss him.
I'm not 100%.
I've
I
grown
think
so
that's
attached.
I like the new guy.
I know the new, yeah. Mary Devon, Summer Gleason's episode, so Mary Devon, and then we have Kevin McCarthy as Dr. Long and Richard Mole, who we thought was Clancy Brown. He did the back computer in Thomas Wayne.
Gotcha.
And then
Who did
Henry
Scarecrow?
Pollock II did Scarecrow.
There you go.
Yeah,
And will he
I'm
continue
pretty
to
sure
do
he
Scarecrow?
plays him throughout the whole show, which he does. Yeah, he does.
Okay.
I was just gonna say right off the bat, I got ahead of myself with the cast, but
Right off the bat.
I just loved this episode. Like, this is my favorite.
Good, I'm
episode
glad.
so far.
Wow.
Easily.
Okay.
Like, by far and away. I watched this whole thing from the back. I was going, "Yup." It's going, "Wowzers."
Yep.
True.
I
I was there.
I'm
was
I'm
there
into
with
this.
you.
Like, you
Yep.
guys were sort of briefing me before the show that the Scarecrow, design changes, and there's many different versions of
Yeah,
Scarecrow,
this
but-
is the only episode with that design.
But even then, like, I don't know. I said this is the introduction of yet another one of the Rogues Gallery. The first week we had, Man-Bat, Joker, now Scarecrow, and obviously
Another horror villain. Going back to the horror villain.
with the fear toxin angle, you can play with so much narratively, and especially with Batman, who is, has to have sort of no fear. But of course, his fear, as Ben read in the synopsis, is about his trauma with Thomas and Martha Wayne dying in the alley, Joe Chill in Crime Alley. So
Yeah.
just so much. I was not anticipating third episode in, like, boom, we're hitting you with some. I think probably.
I'm glad.
I can't imagine it. Like, the last shot of this episode, I'm like, I can't imagine that gets top.
yeah.
Like, that is crazy good. I was like, whoa, that's such a
No, this
Batman
thing
moment.
about this episode is I'll say my piece. This is an episode I haven't seen in like a while. I was remember it being kind of mid. Very pleasantly surprised because I forgot how many literally like show defining moments are in this one episode, which is one of them, which is the sequence at the end that Levi just mentioned. But yeah, no, I really enjoy this episode. My only thing is Scarecrow's not my favorite villain. I think they could have showed the origin a little more interestingly. He kind of just like gives his life story, which is, it's good. It's good. I'm not gonna hate on it too much, but yeah, I love the horror sequences in this episode, and I will say that the sequence at the end, which we'll get to, where Scarecrow takes the fear toxin and looks at Batman,
Oh my
The
god.
show did it first. Batman Begins.
I was about to say,
Show did it first.
Batman Begins totally. This is total
Show did it
inspiration
first.
of that moment, and it was just as cool. Ben, though,
Yeah.
I want to
But
hear.
Ben, yeah,
Yeah, so I think this episode had some really fantastic Bruce / Batman stuff going on. Like Levi said, just the fear toxin has always been such sort of a great little writing device to sort of bring out, people's greatest fears, and it plays so well with Batman, who uses fear, and even Alfred sort of like makes a joke about it, sort of lightheartedly being like, "Oh, you go out there and scare people too," but I mean, it's a little deeper than that. It's a big deal for
Mhm.
Batman to come across someone who's using fear the way he does, which is what makes him such a great sort of hero villain dynamic. And this episode, I think, shows that very well. Like Johnny, not a huge fan of the Scarecrow. I think other versions I much prefer, whether it be Arkham
I like
Asylum,
Epps. There's some better Epps with Scarecrow in this show too.
even
I
some
think.
better episodes. But yeah, the Killian Murphy Scarecrow being my favorite. But some fantastic Bruce stuff, and yeah, you just brought up that moment of the fear toxin being, Batman using it for his own purpose there, and Scarecrow seeing him sort of turn into this bat monster, which, yep, as you mentioned, we see in Batman Begins. We also see in Arkham Knight, maybe sort of towards the end cutscene of the game, spoiler alert, where Batman has weaponized the fear toxin, which is just like
Mm.
super cool idea. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, this episode did it first and has a lot of great moments, and just the music is fantastic, and yeah, very good
So-
episode.
Shirley kills it yet again.
I also just got a compliment for a 22-minute 90s episode, how many threads it juggles and juggles
Yeah,
successfully.
a lot.
Because there's a lot of the narrative was, of course, like one of them is about how Bruce Wayne is coming through from this doctor at the university, because the Scarecrow is Gotham, it's Gotham University, but this guy went to school with Thomas and is like disappointed in Bruce, and like, you've like ruined the name, and that is their only interaction, I think, in the entire episode. But Batman saves him,
Mhm.
and like it's never like addressed, but thematically and morally, like
It's
without
explored.
even without the fear toxin, because Batman, of course, has those fear toxin moments. But the way, like, the elevator, this is so well directed, like, the elevator door closing on Bruce Wayne's face as he has to reconcile with that fact, and then later on, save this guy, because that he is living up. That's like it's one of the tragedy. Johnny always going on about like the tragedy of Spider-Man, but like that's part of the tragedy of Batman.
Tragedy of
that
Batman, absolutely.
Bruce Wayne has to put on this mask that is nothing of the Playboy, that is nothing like who he wants to be, but it's what he has to do. He has to be this, which obviously the Bale movies show it as so well. Like, he has to be this gross version. We haven't seen that necessarily, but the doctor's reaction is all you need. And on top of that, you got Nigel and Anthony. That whole bit, I was like, they've got names, and like Scarecrow, like
Nigel and Anthony, the
talking to his
crooks.
henchmen
They're just
by
they're
first
dumb.
name
That's
basis.
the
I
bit.
love it.
They're
Yeah.
dumb.
Well, it's just the fact
Yeah.
that they had names at all. Like, you never
Yeah.
get that.
The goons with the
Yeah,
names. Sure.
he's like,
Yeah.
Nigel.
Well,
Anthony.
usually the thugs are named. I don't know if it's always said in the episode, but usually they do have a name.
But like the shot of them in the helicopter, where you don't,
Yeah.
it's like head down, and you see like the bullets getting loaded into the gun. So well directed. This is an episode where I'm like, almost every frame, every unique sequence, Zeppelin sequence, the sequence at the end at the grave, the way
The bank vault.
the bank vault, all of it was just so well done.
Yeah.
This episode, I really can't stress enough. I'm
actually well. As I was saying, I was surprised. I can see this coming. I love this episode too. Yeah, I mean, there is so much to chew on, like you said, like with even just purely thematically between, just the differences between Scarecrow and Batman and their like respective fears and like what that brings out in them, and
how they use fear.
yeah, I mean, because Scarecrow is just like a
Mad
jealous,
Doctor.
bitter
Yeah,
human,
bitter guy.
and he seems like he'll never get over that.
He's locking college students in cages and putting rats in.
Yeah, literally, yes, locking them in. The
I love
shot where he's like looking through the little
Yeah.
window, and the girls in there, like all the spiders
The
or whatever
bugs.
they are. Yeah, the bugs
That's
messed
great.
up. But yeah, he's just a little, and then he's running around the hallway. Oh yeah, that shot's funny. When he's imagine he's like in middle school or elementary school or whatever. He's got the
got
snakes in his
snakes.
hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would know if I was in the universe. I'd know that's a
But
bad dude because his head is shaped differently than anyone else's.
yes, yeah. When he puts the scarecrow mask on, his head is somehow smaller.
Yeah, he goes from like
I
the
don't know if
Phineas and Ferb
you
like
just like
triangle head and
it
like
goes like to a little like uh teardrop kind of shaped
We also see
head.
we see stubble Bruce Wayne, and you mentioned that Alfred
Stubble
moment
Bruce
earlier.
Wayne, yeah, he had a rough night. Yeah,
But they did like a 3 shot of, I think it's the character's name is Summer Gleason on TV
yep,
going like failure, and then like it cuts closer
yes.
and closer. I'm like, this, you don't see this in animated 90s animated shows like this. It was so good. I was like, oh my god,
Spy is a good show, Levi.
yeah, so good. The couple of Batmobile shots, so like the camera like switches immediately under, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this is great. I could go on and
yeah.
on. I said I'm really happy
Um,
with the way how
Sure.
it
and
Do
of
we want to
course,
hone in
yeah, let's hone in on some favorite
some
moments here.
favorite
I was just yeah.
moments?
I mean, I was just gonna mention like the the a few show defining moments in this episode. One, of course, being our intro.
That could be your
The I
favorite
am
moment.
vengeance.
Yeah,
I am the night. I am Batman. That is like a show defining
it's his
moment.
mantra.
And I feel like it's a big Batman quote too, just even outside the show. So that was a great moment. And like we said, yeah, I think the last sequence too is pretty important as well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, favorite moments, you guys, or favorite shot. I like how we did last episode. Favorite shot and favorite moment. It can be a little different. What do you
Well,
guys have?
Yeah,
Okay,
Ben.
well, favorite shot got to be the Zeppelin flying over the museum. So underrated,
Mm.
but it's just a quick little
Mm.
shot.
That
Where
that
it's
was
like
also gonna be
underneath.
mine actually,
Okay, yeah, that just like visually was like okay,
because
did it
it
for
not only
me.
was the scale of the Zeppelin,
Yeah,
and
very
I
very
yeah,
satisfying. I love the Zeppelins. Like the museum was awesome. Just like the way it was taken off, and yeah, that looked
Yeah.
just so awesome to me. Favorite moment, man, it's a toss up between the very last sequence there with Bruce standing in front of the graves with the sunglasses on, and as he walks away, his silhouette forms the bat flying after him. It's a toss up between that and him apprehending Scarecrow at his at Crane Chemical.
Chemicals. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would
Fair.
say if I had to pick, it'd probably be the very last sequence there because that is just
Mm.
like pure Batman, giving me Mask of the Phantasm vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we'll be going back to that grave, but just good
So-
good just Batman imagery. I think Batman standing at the grave of his parents is just I think has appeared in probably every single Batman media at some point. And
Yeah.
just perfect sequence.
Both of mine are environment related. The opening of this episode is, as I mentioned earlier, the goons and Scarecrow in a helicopter flying into Gotham, and Gotham is lit in this orange light that is just
orange sky.
that's just so gorgeous. And there's a couple shots of the opening is it revolves around an elevator and characters, just the whole dynamic of locating your characters in a given space and as it moves in relation to the helicopter outside the elevator, and it's all on the outside of this building. It's like the elevator in Attack of the Clones. It's like a Coruscant building. Doesn't really exist in real life, but the circular elevator, it's just so gorgeous, and all within the context of Bruce Wayne is at this this university charity thing and Scarecrow flying around. But my favorite sequence, I think, it has to be the Zeppelin sequence just as a whole. Scarecrow having like a escape pod biplane thing is just so Batman, but also so like Lego Batman. I just loved it. It felt like playing with toys, and the shot of I know it's technically cheating to work a shot into the sequence, but the side profile of the blimp, the Zeppelin hitting the building, exploding. It was not, once again, it's that orange, like red light, that whole thing. And the bullets going through the Zeppelin into the cockpit, all of that. And the camera stays as the Zeppelin moves by and Batman and Anthony are fighting as it goes on. I just couldn't.
And Anthony. Batman and Anthony.
Batman and Anthony. Famed Batman
Nigel.
villain Anthony. But I couldn't be any happier with the execution of this episode. I was like, they nailed it on every level.
I'm thrilled.
I'm thrilled too.
This is my favorite shot. I'll be a little different. I'll say my favorite shot was the bingo shot, where it's just a close up of Batman. He goes bingo. That's it.
Yeah, the shot
That's
right after that is also amazing of him crossing the bridge.
Batmobile.
My favorite moment though, for sure, is the ending. Is Bruce at the grave. I get chills from that moment every time. The music and just I love the design of the grave of
Yeah.
Thomas and Martha's grave. And then just I mean the bat shadow.
And the
it's
way I
infamous.
think there are more flowers on Martha's side too. There were more flowers
Maybe
on one side that
yeah.
I thought was interesting. But before we move on to the fun facts, I totally forgot. I don't think anyone's mentioned it so far, but the huge Thomas Wayne like projecting in the sky as like
Yeah.
becoming a
Yeah.
monster.
And him in the flame too.
Also a great moment.
In the
Also,
vault.
yeah, I know. Oh my god, yeah. I forgot
Yeah.
about the flame, like him fading away into flame.
Yeah.
Another great moment, but part of the Zeppelin sequence, Batman on the front and just this huge monster of his father.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, let's hear some fun facts though. Go.
Yeah. Well, you guys may have noticed that this is the that they used the Danny Elfman theme twice.
I did.
You
And he
guys
was in the
notice
credits
that?
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so at one point there's that Batmobile computer, and I think Levi actually pointed this out. There's a list of the locations. They mentioned Star Labs, which also does come back in Superman the Animated Series, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty cool. And then so the security guard at the bank is reading a Tiny Toons adventure comic book, which is pretty cool. That's
I noticed
obviously a nod. Also to Henry Gilroy, who worked on that show at the time as well. I believe that's how he got this.
Yep, he did. That was his first.
Um,
That was his first gig. So he
yeah.
wrote that in. Which is
Um,
once again crazy that he was working on that probably at 16, 17, and
Yeah.
then pitches this script. I wanted to say it earlier, but I think the reason why there's a quote unquote co-writer is because he
Mhm.
sold this script, and the only reason there's a co-writer is like because they couldn't. I think there may have been
There's actually a little bit.
crediting issue, like
Actually,
having a 17-year-old like write a script. I'm sure there was some
Yeah.
writer's guild, like rule.
Yeah. Well, I'll actually tell you a bit about that. So Henry turned in his first draft to Bruce, and Bruce thought it wasn't bad, but they did hire Sean as their first story editor. So that was the first time a story editor came in, and they kind of tweaked some of the dialogue, but besides that, the structure was there, and it was a good script.
Crazy.
And then the last thing. Oh, last thing. I mean, just the I am Venus, I am Batman. I mean, forever iconic as just like Kevin Conroy's like go-to line. And it's been in so many Batman media. I mean, it's quoted all the time in the Arkham games, or in Arkham Knight, right? In the Arkham Knight.
Yeah, no, it's like the
video
last
game.
big line of the Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Joker.
Just so much. I mean, it's just a forever iconic line. But that's all I had for this episode. Like I said, I mean, Scarecrow's design, that's the only episode which has this design, and
Yeah. Any other big thoughts before we move on to
that is the app.
Move on to the title card, which I think is maybe my one drawback. I think
I'm gonna
controversial title card opinion. I don't think I liked it that much.
Ooh,
it's fine. Well,
interesting.
We can get.
I actually need to
there.
get a picture first as well.
Overall, though, I can't stress enough how this is everything I want a Batman story to be within the animated series.
I love that.
And what are you gonna do out of 10 then?
I love that you love it. Yeah, out of 10 on the app. What are we thinking?
This is an easy 9.5 for me. I mean, I think I know they're better. Like I've seen Heart of Ice, and I know that's coming up soon, and I love that episode. And that's probably like a 9.5 to me. The Nora Freeze and all that stuff is just such a wonderful angle, introduction to Mr. Freeze. So I'm just trying to. I haven't seen the whole show, and I know there are episodes that are probably better. And like we did last week or last time we recorded, Ben's trying to. We got to scale it against itself, but I usually try to rate something, an individual episode on how well it's doing. I'm trying to just determine what I want to do. So I'll finish with I'll stick it to 9. I'll go 9 for now. I want to give it a 9.5 in my heart, but I know there's stuff that's better coming. So I'll say 9.
Okay. Ben?
This episode is a solid 8.5 to me.
Johnny,
okay.
You?
Anything else? No. For me, this episode, again, I literally thought it was like a 7.5. I don't agree with that, for the record, but for me, this episode's probably Let's see. Probably an 8.5. Probably an 8.5. Yeah. I liked it a lot. I mean, again, it's just like it's such a classic episode for the entire series. So, it's great. It's great. But anyways, let's move on to our tier list. This is the title card here. Nothing to fear. Kind of a low res image, unfortunately. I was trying to find the best picture, but yeah, this is the one.
I don't know. This doesn't.
What
This
do you
doesn't.
think about this one?
This doesn't like thrill me.
Okay.
This is
thrill you.
This is a B tier for me. This is a definitive B. Maybe even like
Pull up
low
the tier
B.
list.
Yeah, I got it here.
And what are your thoughts, Ben?
Let's see.
I'm gonna well, you talk about sort of scaling it against each other, and particularly with the title cards, it's even more true. So I'm gonna say C for this one. I just knowing what's coming up, there's some
C.
crazy awesome ones,
Interesting.
and like I think what a lot of the title cards have going for them is they're like super like classic look going for it, and I don't know. I think even the text here seems a little more modern, and it's sort of just a picture of a scarecrow. I just nothing stands out to me as being like.
I changed my answer.
It's not bad, but
I'm
C.
I'm C as well. I gotta commit.
Really?
Because we're okay. Full disclosure, everyone who watches, we do watch these episodes together. And when the title card came up,
Yes.
I thought I heard you guys go, "Oh, that's a good title card." I went, "Oh, so they're probably gonna put it like A. I'll take it B. Then it'll be,
No, I actually don't agree with either of you.
You're up.
I quite like this one a lot, actually.
I did. I did.
I do like the image more than I like the text. I do really like the scarecrow. The scarecrow image. I like just like the misty, like weird orange, like kind of haze that's in the back, and like it's in the scarecrow silhouette. I don't know if it really touches these two, but I think this might be a B for me. This might be a B.
I think I probably would go top C then. If you're getting two C's and a B, top C.
Yeah.
That's a C.
Ain't bad though. Ain't bad by any means.
No, ain't bad.
C, it's middle of the line.
There is
Depends
stuff.
on
There
what.
is better ones.
This
though.
is middle of the line to me. It's mid tier.
Fair enough. Right,
you
there it
go.
is.
A good
Alright,
app
guys.
then. A good app. This is
Good,
my
a
favorite app
good,
so far.
solid-
Of the three
I love
that I
it, the
know
three.
I've seen, this is my favorite one.
I'm glad. Well, thank you everybody for watching another episode of Batman Anime Series podcast. It's episode 3, Nothing to Fear. Next time we'll be watching episode 4, which is The Last Laugh, another Joker ep. One I particularly like a lot. And yeah, be sure to subscribe and like the video and let us know what you thought of this episode. Nothing to Fear. What did you think? And
Scarecrow, baby.
Scarecrow baby. And next time we'll see. Well, next
See
time
you
on the
next
Joker.
time.
The Joker.
See you guys.
Play us out. Play us out.
Bye.